social media is electronic graffiti like scrawled on a lavatory wall. So said the Prime Minister of Australia, Tony Abbott, this week, angrily, in response to a community response on social media around his decision to award Prince Philip of the UK an Australian knighthood on Australia Day. In doing so, Tony Abbott dissed a whole industry, which in turn has ultimately led to calls for his resignation. I passionately believe in the value of social media, and as a member of a community council team, tweet daily on topics of interest to our community. By doing so, we are sharing information that we believe the community can engage with and in turn get their feedback. It's an extremely exciting and empowering thing to witness, this form of engagement. And ultimately, I believe some of this feedback can and does filter right through to the top level of governance in Scotland. In this role, like yourselves, we give our time unpaid to facilitating community engagement via social media. So the question is, why do we choose to do this? I'm reminded of the words delivered by President-elect John F. Kennedy during his inaugurational address, that has gone on to inspire generations to get involved in community service. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I think the recent referendum has proved that Scotland has an appetite for community engagement. It was an extremely exciting time. Now the practicalities. I initially definitely lacked the basic skills to be involved with this medium, but I was galvanised by the reasons I've already shared with you. I also leaned on the wise words of George Bernard Shaw. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honourable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Team member Leah here actually encouraged me, and she enlightened me on the culture of media of Twitter, which is actually a conversation, and there's room to say sorry if you get it wrong. So that encouraged me to be braver. So most days we have a quick glance through the information that's coming into our Twitter account, and we share out. Initially it was just locally, and as we got braver we went nationally and then internationally. So for example, we started chatting about the repairs on Leith Walk that have had a big impact on our community.
Could you sign in?
We then shared about the 20 mile an hour zones for cars in our area. Then further out to the Forth Road Bridge, the A9 cameras. And this week we've been chatting about snow in New York. So in closing, we've seen great progress in terms of community engagement, and that's why we're all here today. But for me, I think the biggest impact has been at our monthly meetings. We have the normal setup where you introduce yourself around the table, but I actually see a virtual community as we're in the room. We're live tweeting, and we're getting to the point that soon we'll be able to introduce who's on Twitter. So our room is actually packed, even though there's only a few at the table. So to go back to Tony Abbott, I think his leadership skills would be much improved if he'd listened to what the community is telling him.
You don't want to remember the password.
And used and not dissed the latest form of engagement. Thank you.
I got involved in this sort of project in Leith because I have a skill to share, and because Marion was keen. So it was quite an easy task to sit with her on occasion, just throw some ideas around, some practical things that could be done on Twitter. And now she is live tweeting from the meetings. And at last month's meeting, or this month's meeting, earlier this month, we got to a point where a councillor in the room was responding directly to a citizen who was remotely taking part in our meeting about an issue he was concerned about. And I'm so excited about that. That to me is a really good place for us to be. We've only been doing this for a few months. Our community has been so receptive to us reaching out to them. And it was just small things we were doing on Twitter, like searching for Pilrig, Leith Walk, Easter Road, any mentions of these on Twitter, and we would reach out to these people and say, did you know we exist? And that you're concerned about this? We are too. Come join us. And it's just grown from there. So I think we have a lot more to do. None of it is difficult, but it is time consuming, and I think we could get to a place where it is quite a big thing because we've seen such, I think, quick growth in such a small period of time. But it's made, like Marion says, there's few people in the room, but it's actually packed. People are watching, they're listening, they're responding. And that means a lot to me because when you look at the people around the table, that's not representative of my community, the people in that room. So the fact that we're getting more different people in means a lot to me, and I think we're just going to grow from here. If anybody wants to talk to us about how we've done this, what our next plans are, even if you just want to sit and push some buttons and do some stuff, let us know. We're quite happy to help out and share any information.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have time for a couple of quick questions now?
Definitely.
Okay, no.
I don't do Twitter, and I'm not likely to do Twitter, but I see dangers in it on that page alone.
Okay.
We Central CC, so you're governed by the Community Council rules, and we're apolitical. The first thing I see is Colin Fox, who's very political, got a link there. What's it doing there? Should that not be elsewhere?
That says who to follow. We've chosen not to follow him.
That's Twitter
Well,
telling
you're
us
still
about.
advertising.
No, you're misunderstanding what's going on. This is Twitch. This is what the user sees. This is what Twitter says to this user. It's not what anyone would see if they came to.
We Central CC is on that page, so we're responsible for the information on that page.
But no one else can see that. That's just
This is like going onto your own email account. It's not anyone. Nobody else would see it.
That's a good question. I think.
Yeah.
Can you do that again, please, because we can't hear a single word of
Okay.
them. This is the homepage for the person who's logged in, and so it's what they can see, but not what the public can see.
Yeah, so the issue was that there's a problem here with the suggestions of who to follow on the left-hand side. So if Leaf Central is a political organisation, the question was why is that information there? But that's not to do with see and
God.
Can you bring up the right up when? Okay.
We're actually acutely aware of that. Acutely aware of that. And never quite does not bring down that route at all. So.
We've actually had quite a few involved conversations about how to respond to someone, if we should respond to someone. We've had a recent issue with a local Leaf citizen given an OBE. And somebody had written into the community council via Twitter about whether or not we were going to have a celebration of some sort for this person, which is really maybe not appropriate for a community council to be doing. It would be nice, but it's not any sort of obligation. So we didn't know if this person was actually confusing us with the council and thinking there should be something else to do. So there's these kind of interesting insights that are coming up with the way that people are engaging with us, whether or not they maybe know exactly who we are and what we're there to do. But we haven't had any sort of abuse or trolling or anything like that. If anything, during the meetings, some people get a little bit too verbose. They just they have so much to say, and we're giving them that opportunity because, again, this month somebody wanted to come but had to babysit. So this was the way that they could get in touch with us and participate in the meeting.
Can you show tweets coming in then at the meeting? Do you have like a screen up to so people can see them, or?
Well, if you're on Twitter, there's an area that's tweets and replies, so you can see conversations that happen there. But we could choose to retweet things as well, and then that would appear in our meeting.
Your councillors in the meeting, you're not showing it all of them.
Which would be nice.
They're all on their own phones.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea,
Yeah.
actually.
It'd be interesting to explore.
Yeah, I was thinking rather than
Yeah.
To have a screen or something. Yeah.
One more thing from Kathleen, and then we'll move on.
Isn't there a limit on how many characters you can give?
Yes.
That's quite positive.
Well, I think Marion will attest to the skill that needs to be learned in communicating something very well, but very concisely, especially if you're adding a web link or something like this. But you've done so well, so quickly. I'm so proud of you. So we're going to live tweet with 2 people the next meeting because we're actually getting more coming in. And it's difficult for one person to tweet out and also process everything that's coming in the way. So we're going to have to set up not have to, but we're going to look at setting up a 2-person team and see how that works.